Oh man, I like the music extra loud.
Same.
Microphone check, microphone check. I'm gonna wear both of yours over today.
Ayo. This my letter to you. This my letter to you.
I'm just let the music talk for a bit.
This my letter to you. Wishing you and yours the best. Kept it real to the true shit, ignoring the rest.
Am I allowed to play this stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
send it to you. You're good to go.
I
Play it
respect
whenever you
artistry,
want.
you know.
It's rough drafts. But yeah, those are gonna be used. So they're rough but used.
Okay. Well, before we get too far into this, for the record, the show is called For the Record.
For the record.
This is For the Record. I'm Jay Kasai, and if you're on this channel, you probably know that. But I have a very special guest today, like every time I do this show. Today we got Speeks Geek.
Hi-oh. Thanks for having me. For real.
Bro, I appreciate you making the journey to my humble abode.
Journey? You weren't lying. It's a journey. That was a journey.
It's a journey, man. That's why I want to make sure the show is worthwhile. I'm not kicking you out.
I'm hitting Morongo after this.
Hey. Yeah, we're out on the boonies, but yeah, man, this is a special moment, and you're a special artist, bro.
I appreciate that.
So no matter how obscure or hidden or deep dark in your caves you spend time, this is a guy who makes great songs, great music, and he's unique, and we're gonna talk a lot about why and try to make sure if you're a viewer or listener, you can get mad at him with me for how little he releases. Because that's my secret agenda here is to
you weren't releasing music and we wanted to know. That's fine. That's fair.
Yeah. So hopefully this might incentivize you. You know, if you're watching this, find him online at Speeks Geek 909 or something. What's your ads? I don't know.
It's just Speeks Geek. I spelt it stupid. I tried to be clever and it didn't work out. But it's SPEEKSGEAK.
Yeah, search that and message him and say, put out your shit. I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss on this.
Or I'm going to find you.
Yeah, so yell at him. But with all that aside, man, you are clearly a rapper, right? Not clearly.
I was a fan of it, and I wanted to make beats for rappers. And rappers were like, who did you work with? And I'm like, nobody. I just started making beats. Then nah, I'm good.
Wow.
So then I just started doing it, and here we are.
So then, not clearly rapper, also a producer.
I just wanted to be a producer, and then it transformed and went.
What all do you do? I mean, because there's a lot about your story that is not obvious.
What all do I do? Like music wise?
Yes, let's start with music. Let's start there.
Producer. I guess I rap sometimes. I started singing more because I got a little more comfortable and a little more practice with my voice. I've been songwriting for other people. And yeah, that's pretty much, I don't know what else there is. I don't mix and master, but I engineer.
Yeah, you track at the very least. You do very quality tracking, which is, you know how to record a vocal and make sure it's listenable when it's all said and done.
True. That's
good tracking. Yeah. So, yeah, man. I think the story starts with, I think I told you just a bit off the mic that I saw you doing a podcast, I want to say, with someone. This had to be 2014 or 2015 or something crazy like that. And we took a journey out to your neck of the woods, still the IE for the most part, just the other edge, the opposite edge. And you were just a cool ass dude.
I appreciate that. Normally, I feel like people are going to be like, oh, why is this guy like that? But then once they get to know me, they're like, oh, you're always like that. All right, that's who you are. But at first, people are like, I'm over this. Like, why can't he be serious ever?
Yeah.
And it's like, I could, but it's boring.
I don't know. You seem cool to me, man. I don't have any complaints. And I think that we have some pretty core differences. We don't know each other super well.
True.
I think that to date, we've held conversation in person maybe 2 or 3 times. But we follow each other on socials, And I think we both just go, okay, I see you, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Just watching from like a distance and being like, and we know so many. I think we know a lot of the same people.
Absolutely, for sure.
So I think that's what like keeps it like we're in a circle, but we don't really communicate as much. But I think you were on Twitter.
Yeah.
When you were on Twitter heavy, I think that's when I was communicating kind of.
Yeah,
the most.
I'm a big Twitter head. I tweet a lot less now, but that's still the one that I actually consistently use out of all of them. Mm-hmm. The other ones for me are more so out of necessity for the art, to promote.
You have to use it.
I hate Facebook and Instagram personally, but it's mostly just because I'm a hater. I don't have a good reason. It's just I don't prefer them. That's all it is. I don't have valid reasoning for it. So if someone loves it, I'm like, okay, good for you. But Twitter for me, I don't know. It feels a bit less filtered, a bit more pure, and it's the only one I don't feel is algorithm driven. Like
very much so.
The timeline just flows. Versus Instagram's like, check out this right now from 2 to 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, man, I thought that was funny 3 days ago.
Yeah,
it's not funny today.
It's frustrating, man. Especially like for someone who's not in the love of the algorithm to. Like, let's say you put out a song right now. If Instagram doesn't push you through the algorithm, then you get 1/3 of the attention that you could possibly get from your followers. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not a fan of most things.
It's because they want you to play the game and, like, clock in the hours. And it's like, it's not supposed to be a job. It is a job, but it's not supposed to be like, I have to clock in hours to make sure that this is working in my favor.
Right.
It's the worst, but it's the world we live in, the indie machine, I guess, the independent machine.
Right. So, man, you have music. There's a lot of guitar-y stuff, and I hear live instrumentation in some form or aspect, whether they be loops or real instruments. You're a fan of live instrumentation.
I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of the feel, and I feel like it feels better. You can feel the music when it's more instrumentation.
Yeah. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I was in band from like 4th grade to high school. I was in like marching band.
Were you a drummer or what did you play?
No, I started clarinet in like 4th grade.
We all did.
Yeah. Then I switched to 8th grade. I switched to tenor sax.
Okay.
Because I wanted to play in jazz band, and Mr. Steinkonig, rest in peace, aka Mr. Holland's Opus without the student stuff, he said, I don't have clarinet music for jazz band, but the fingerings are the same for tenor. Play that, and then I played tenor.
Wow.
But then I didn't play music. I was in marching band, orchestra, all that stuff, and then I didn't play music after high school. And then someone like gave me a demo of Fruity Loops from like the local high school next to me. He's like, "Hey man, Fruity Loops," and it was right after I listened to Clones. That's the reason I started. Ooh. That's the reason I started producing. That's my shit. Neptunes is my shit.
I love the Neptunes, man.
It's my shit. Like for real.
They created a lot of artists, man. I think the biggest one they made was Tyler.
For real, he's like the baby of Kanye
Pharrell.
and Pharrell.
Yeah, that's insane to me. It's crazy that a shock value Eminem Slim Shady LP mashed into Pharrell and then Kanye and became Tyler.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the shock value stuff before, and then as it like evolved, I think around Wolf, I started and I was like, oh, I get this part of it, and then since then I've been a fan.
And I was a fan from day one, and it was partially because I just kind of felt like he was still at an age where there wasn't really anything to be talking about.
That's true.
And they were cranking out records, and I went, okay, well, they're probably writing just angriness because there's nothing else going on,
Other than anger, you're right.
And I was like, okay, I'm here for it. And kind of like you said, it definitely was like, okay, the very first album, there's one Substance record. Then the next album, there's 3. And the next one, there's 6. And then before you know, you're like, oh, wow, he's making the majority is pretty substantial music. And now he's just making fully conscious, thoughtful songs and stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it's out of here now. You know, he's progressed musically in that time, and he's a matured artist. And something that I think me and you can both kind of maybe relate to is his voice. He has a raspier, lower voice, and I think me and you both do. And it's funny to me because I don't know your story with your voice, but for me, my first 5 years of recording my voice, I was like, I don't sound like anyone else on the radio. I don't sound like my friends that I'm rapping with. Mm-hmm. I didn't have anyone to listen to and reference where I could go like, okay, I can get to that point. I never saw that point.
There was nobody else with like, you're right, with like the raspiness. When I first started kind of dabbling, my voice sounded completely different.
Yeah.
But I went through like a second puberty when I was like 20 something, and then my voice changed again. So my voice changed, and then like when I was working at the video game store, my voice changed again, and I was like, well, maybe I'm sick or something, and then it just stayed. And it stayed like this. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, this is it from now on. So
yeah, I think your voice is very penetrating. Like you have a good recording artist voice.
I appreciate that because I used to hate my voice with a passion, but now I've like grown to. You had the same thing. Did you not like your voice, or were you like cool with it?
I learned to engineer because I hated how I sounded.
Gotcha.
I was like, look, someone's got to do something about this, and it's gonna have to be me. So
that's fair.
I was on YouTube. I would listen to other deep voice artists, and I didn't like the earliest ones for me were like what song is that? Like not Bone Crusher, but it's like an older joint where it's like one of those down. But back when the South was running hip hop, there's a dude who was, I come to Texas, I come to. And I was like, who? He sounds terrible. And even Dr. Dre, never let me slip. If I slip, then I'm slipping. And I was like, man, I don't want to sound like that. I don't think that sounds cool to me.
I always thought that like the Dr. Dre rap voice was not. It didn't feel real.
It's not real.
It's not real. Right?
And I was like, I can't be that guy. I can't be.
I feel that.
And my favorite artists coming up from rap were all like the Kendricky, Drakey, Lupe, Nas. These guys are all rapping. Their voices are way up here. And I always was like, man, my voice just doesn't go up there,
I got it. I-20, I think. Is that his name? I-20?
I don't know his name.
I know.
That sounds like it, though. That sounds like it.
He used to do all the Atlanta stuff.
Yeah.
It's I-20.
Yeah, and he's the reason I was... Like, hearing him made me insecure about myself. I was like, oh, do I sound like that? So I started, like... I was like, I'm just going to make my voice deeper. Like, I put the deep voice effects on my voice. Like, I was like, they won't think it's really me, even though it is me.
Even though it is you.
Then I tried the opposite. I would... pitch up myself about like 20 cents. Like I'll just tweak it just a bit higher. But it sounded like it was tweaked higher to my ear. So it took me a while to like find a way to just find confidence in my voice. And it's funny because now it's like the main thing I'm complimented for,
Same. You just have to like embrace it and dive into it, and then it's yours. Like
I want to know, how did you decide I'm gonna sing with this voice? What made you think that? Because I don't know if do you know who Xavier Omar is?
I don't.
He used to be named Spazzy Rocket back in the day, but he does a bunch of music with Sango and stuff like that. But he's got a beautiful singing voice. That's the whole point of the story. And he said that he used to be embarrassed of his voice. And I was like, dude, if you're embarrassed of your voice,
then I'm never singing. I'm only whistling songs.
Yeah, he was saying that it was because he couldn't find other singers that sounded like him. And he felt like he didn't identify with anything.
That makes sense.
And so I'm like, well, who did you hear that made you go, I can go out and do that and then perform it?
I think I just would do it. No, I don't know who inspired me to sing or who I listened to, but I would do it by myself in the room, like rooftops. I was never going to show anyone that song, but I showed it to Alfred, and then Alfred was like, that's amazing. And he wrote a verse right then, and then he was just like...
Can we play some of that?
Yeah, go for it.
So, maybe you want to just... I guess I don't want you to have to brag. I'll brag for you.
Oh, can I say one thing about the song?
Yeah.
It's inspired by Super Rich Kids. that's the
Frank.
whole feel of it. It's like it's a Benny and the Jets kind of like sounds like Benny and the Jets, but it's inspired by that. That was the song. I would just listen to that song like for 2 hours straight.
Yeah, I feel like most of the artists that will be coming here or that I became a fan of, there was a moment like a record they performed that I saw where I went, I like him. Or like something that pulled me in, or maybe even it was like other people were bought in and I was like, why do you guys like this guy so much?
Why?
And like they're like, that song, like this is that for you, for me. Like this is the song where people talk about this record from you consistently. And it's been, I don't even know how many years.
It's been, I think it's like a 5 or 6 year old song.
You know, and it stands the test of time.
And it wasn't even going to come out. I wasn't even going to show anyone the song, but I showed it to one person and he was like, nah. You have to, and he's like, I need to be on it, and we're gonna put it out. And
well, look, man, this is the old school version. This is the OG SoundCloud demo-y, whatever he calls it version. This isn't on Apple Music. It's not nowhere. Streamable unless
you go to the show. Go to the show, and it'll be there. And when it does get re-recorded, it's gonna have a choir on it. So
more reason to check it out.
It's gonna be sick.
Here it goes, Rooftops. I hear the reference, obviously, right away.
Marvin Gaye, Chardonnay. Some would say that's a recipe for disaster.
This is before I knew what reverb was.
Demo. It's okay.
Just let it play. I can make you smile faster. The summer will fade away. You turn on my nights today.
Those are all your voice?
That's all me.
Yeah.
That's right. Cause I'm standing on rooftops.
That's Peter's voice in the background.
Okay.
That's an Easter egg.
If anybody asks me, it's you.
Nothing can bring me down. Yeah, I'm on these rooftops. Rooftop. Said it too early. Fuck it. Trey's up. Look in the mirror, see all of my problems. No more looking around for people to solve them. I can climb to the top, look down and see madness. I've been fighting this hunger, throw 3 up for Katniss. So the rooftops or shoe shop, I skeet in a tube sock. Most people couldn't hang with a new snot, so I cooked up, brought you the new stock. Gone for a minute, yeah. Hard to write when I'm stressed out. Wait, I'ma let you finish. That's what I say to the best out. Talking to myself, that ain't new. Suicidal thoughts, that ain't you. Smile on my face when I'm feeling blue. The quiet guy blowing loud just to get me through. I'm doing music, working 2 jobs. So sick, need a flu shot. And while you're sitting there talking about who's hot, I got my trays up, chilling on the rooftop. Rooftop.
So tell me about your rap style, because you're actually a quality rapper.
You think so?
Yeah, man.
Interesting. I don't know what. I'm influenced by. I listened to a lot of radio stuff when I was growing up, but I listened to a lot of Clips. That was my shit. I listened to a lot of 50 Cent, like the shit that was huge on the radio. That's pretty much what I listened to, and I guess made my own version of the stuff that I used to listen to.
What are you listening to these days?
So much different stuff. I listen to a lot of like sad music. I really like Daniel Caesar and like Giveon and like sad ass shit, but I like the elements of how it's put together is what's so beautiful, and that's what I'm like starting to like ease into more. But it's hard to get to work with people with that, because they're like, oh no, I just want you to rap, I don't want you to really do all that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. And I mean, we listened to a few records between the two of us over the last hour, and I think we can both agree, like, you know, the songs that really hit are the ones that just, it doesn't sound like someone just played a beat and someone wrote a verse. You know, it's the ones where you're like, oh, they added, it switched into that, flowed into that, you know, and it's more of a composition. It feels more like what felt like.
All feel. That's, you know, the only way I'll do anything. Like if I don't feel it, I'm not gonna force. I hate forcing. I hate listening to forced music, and I hate projecting forced music. It's the worst, because when I go back and listen to it, I don't feel it, and I'm like, turn it off, delete it, pitch it up so they don't know it's me. Like,
so for me, it's so if I were to guess, I would assume that, you know, you definitely have like a lot of melody in your music, a lot of feel. You also produce. What is that? How's your workflow? Like, how does this all come together when you make like that song? Did you make the beat?
I made the beat. Yeah.
Sheesh. Okay, that's dope. So did you go like, okay, I want to make a Super Rich Kids-esque record?
I was just seeing if I could play Benny and the Jets. I was seeing if I could play it, and then I was like, all right, let me move over. It's very similar, but I'm not really a keys player like that. But I'm all right. Like I feel like my best quality in the music of anything is my ear over everything. That's the only thing I feel I have going for me is my ear. But yeah, I just sat there and played, and I was like, all right, let's add this. Let's add this. It's very simple. It's not crazy arrangement or anything like that. Yeah. But I just like, all right. And then I started like singing over it, and I was like, if I didn't hate it in the first 5 seconds, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And it wasn't full enough, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna rap on it and see how it works. And it worked out. Funny thing about that song means the world to me now. But when I wrote it, it didn't really mean anything to me, which is crazy.
That's how it goes, man. You know, when you're trying to make the meaningful stuff or trying to have a narrative behind the song,
it's harder.
It's tougher because you're putting contingencies on the quality of the music, you know, and that takes away from literally what you were describing, which is feel, you know. I think that's part of the reason I struggle now. So originally, when I first started, I was rapidy rap, lyrical miracle. Y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. And everyone's like, okay, you know, like, we're gonna not listen then, you know. And eventually I kind of was like, well, what do I like to listen to and why, you know? And it's because I took something from what I was hearing and I did understand it, you know, and stuff like that. And then I would start trying to just find beats that sounded like that. And I went down the process that we kind of started, which was like people sending you packs of beats and all that. And I kind of found that I struggled to write songs to those. Like, I struggle. Like, someone will send me 50 beats. I'll write like 2 songs, maybe, like one of them. And it just wasn't working for me. And that's part of the reason I struggled to really get the ball rolling with my catalog.
Gotcha.
And then I met Oh Gosh Leotis and Nabi, who I've known him since I was like 12.
Oh,
something
snap.
like that. He moved away.
Sandbox.
Way back. He moved back to California, and so I was able to sit in the studio with these guys and talk about what's in my head, talk about the keys I was looking for and the sounds, and then the songs wrote themselves.
That's sick.
You know, it's like, I need this BPM, I'm looking for this sound, I want this part empty, I want to add strings here, and I blink and the record's done, you know. And while they're playing the instruments, the flows are coming to me, you know, like, oh my God.
That's special to be able to work that kind of workflow. People pay money and money and money searching for that and don't get anywhere because they're going through so many people. The fact that it's people you know, it's special, man. It's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, so I think that, I mean, this is obviously speaking about the future, but that's something that we should probably do. You know, we should just link up and have just a from scratch. I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes nothing comes from it.
You know, I'm completely fine with that because I know, like, there's a couple artists that I work with, and I worked with with a singer named Jade. The first times that we met, nothing. It was just conversation, getting to know each other more, coming up with like thought processes and concepts and things that you want to work on, things that you like, showing each other music, and then it was like, all right, we have a feel for each other.
That's the secret weapon, man.
That's the secret,
man. Playing music with each other, listening to each other's music, listening to what you're listening to. What are you a fan of? What do you not like? Stuff like that. And before you know it, you're thinking about their sonics when they're not around.
Exactly.
You know, and now you're in tune. So yeah, man, that's
a cheat code for sure. That's a cheat code.
That's beautiful, man. So where's your catalog?
I think mainly on Pedro's hard drive. Probably not even. He has stuff that I don't even have anymore. Like he's my data vault.
So what you're saying is not on Apple Music?
I put an old project on there from like 2013. I put a project on Apple Music. It's called Bay. And it was pretty sick. I got to perform it a bunch of times. I had a band play with me when I was doing that. Shout out to Danny. And it was sick. Yeah. But I'm going to release more.
Okay, that's what I want to hear, because 2013, I don't know if you realize it, that's almost a decade ago.
That was 10 years ago. That's wild. Yeah.
You've lived a lot of life since then, you know?
I have.
And your voice is probably not the same, because I think you said your voice changed within the last 10 years?
Yeah, well, right before that that project, my voice had, changed again.
Okay. Yeah, man, so I think that you owe it to yourself, man, to even if it's not perfect, take that next leap.
Now I'm okay with it not being perfect.
That's important.
Yeah, I used to be like, oh, it's not perfect. And it's like, what is perfect?
Yeah.
What is perfect? It's because I listened to a song on the radio that 40 people touched. And it's like, does that make it perfect? Or it's like, no, it's just, there's no wrong way to make a song.
Right.
The only thing I tell people, the only thing with a song, there's two things in the song. There's a beginning of the song, there's an end of the song. Whatever you do in between there, it can be 30 seconds. I have a 38-second song. And
where is that?
It's on Apple Music. It's called It's called Early Endings, and it sounds like
I see what you did there.
Yeah, this sounds like the song cuts off in the middle. I remember people texting me like, yo, the song link it's broken, and it was on CD. They're like, hey, the CD file's messed up.
Am I gonna get angry at this song or what?
No, I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, it's this song.
What in the hell is going on? I'm already pissed off just knowing.
Oh, this is awesome.
Tell me why you always gotta start a fight. Why you always gotta be so right? Smart ass with all of my answers. I swear to God, loving you's like a cancer. But I need this shit to breathe. I don't feel shit till I bleed. I don't wanna leave, but I gotta go. And the pussy was good, that'll let you know.
Yeah,
man, we'd probably have to fight, man. If I bought your album for $9.99 and that happened,
it was free. I gave it away. It's free.
It better be, man.
Yeah, that everyone was like, "Yo, where's the rest of it?" And I was like, "No, I literally wrote it to end on if, and then I didn't write anything else."
That's crazy. There's this old Joe Budden record where he's talking about it's like this pen bleeding ballad of his life about this girl he got with that is way younger than him, and they're talking about could they start a family, and his mom's telling things, and she met his mom, and then it just starts to slowly fade away while he's telling you the most dramatic stuff, and it just fades.
That's awesome.
In mid-story, it just fades, and he's literally like, and you met my mom, and she asked, why would I have a baby with you, and you know it now.
That's wild.
And I started punching the air, man. I was like, what? I was like, I can't believe this I just got scammed,
I love it.
But what's funny is I bet you he just was didn't finish writing the song.
Right. And that's a possibility.
Did, maybe he was like, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, maybe the end of it was I'm still in the end of this part, and I don't know if I can put that out.
Yeah. And so
that's awesome. I love stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean,
what was the song? Promise that you will.
So you're talking about Kendrick singing about me.
That where it like fades out.
Yeah.
There's like different elements. That shit is like theatrical.
That's a 10 out of 10 record. That's a 10 out of 10 record. Yeah, that's an amazing record. That's one where it's like, I'll never fade away. I'll never fade away.
Yeah. The one where the gunshot goes off and it just stops right there.
Yep.
Like, yeah. That's movie stuff.
Yeah, that's art. That's art, man. You know, it's kind of like you were saying. When you start ignoring structure so much, because we know the original structure was 3/16s, you know, with a hook in between each, and now it's kind of dropped down to like, it's getting crazy. It's dropped down to like 12/8, 12/8. That's kind of the new structure.
There's hook versus hook. That's it. Yeah.
These records are 2 minutes long.
They're trying to cut it down lower. I saw an interview with like some R&B singer, and he's like, "Oh, what's up with the 2 minute songs?" He's like, "That's my new formula." He's like, "No one has the attention span. Imagine having your whole song in a TikTok."
Yeah.
Like in a 1 minute. That's crazy.
That's the record. Your whole record fits in a scroll.
TikTok, yeah.
It's on a timeline sequence, just flowing. Yeah, man. So what's your plan? Like, what's next? Where are you going?
My plan is to drop a project, and then I already started working on other stuff for the project. I've been occupado with Cosmic Taste. That's my duo. And me and my brother Jesus, or Keebs, we dropped a project in like September. We've been working together. I started Cosmic Taste was before I was even Speaks Geek. I was doing that, so it's like
interesting. You guys had some pretty sick artwork, if I remember correctly, recently. You put out something, and they had some cover art that I was like, "That's really dope."
Probably Pedro did it.
Okay.
Pedro's like he's my creative god. Like he's the only reason I do a lot of stuff that's creative is because of him.
Interesting.
So shout out to him. That's my goat for sure.
Nice, dude. And then what about outside of the music, man? What's going on?
Work. We just opened our second store. And
you have a second store. So for people who don't know you, what kind of store do you have?
I own a video game store, comic book shop, trading card, Funko Pop, collectibles store. It's like Frankensons. The first store is like Frankensons crammed into 2 10x10 spaces.
Sheesh.
And we do everything from regular Nintendo from the 1989 I think it came out to current. And we do everything in between. And then recently, 5 months ago, we opened our second store in downtown Pomona. It's me and my brother Rico. He has a clothing line out for the night, OFTN. So it's like a split, and it's a brick and mortar and way more space. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Damn, man, that's amazing. How do you start something like that? Like what? How did you go? We're gonna open a store.
When I met Pedro, when we worked at the video game store, we would kind of joke. We played a lot of Pokemon cards, like on the clock and stuff, and we read comic books. But our boss was like, "No, we're like, oh, we should sell comic books. We should sell Pokemon cards. No, we're just gonna do video games." And she didn't really know anything about video games like that. It was like a franchise thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would joke about it. Then it was like fast forward 7 years or something like that, and I wasn't available, but Pedro and Keebler and another friend, they opened it. And then after a year, like, it was going okay, but then it wasn't going as well as, projected.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got asked if I was willing to, and I was like, you know what? I just got hit by a forklift at work.
Yo.
But in the ankle by the fork or whatever, and then I quit, and then I was like, I'm going to just fully dive into this because it's stuff that I love and I know that I could do it. And we've been going for 7 years now.
Damn, that's beautiful, man. I mean, the fact that you're growing to the point you have a second location.
Yeah, and we're like starting to outgrow that. So it's like, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to just make it work.
I mean, I have questions for you even on that. Yeah. I mean, because I feel like the video game world is going digital.
It is going digital. the companies are trying to make it go digital, and no one wants to go digital. Why? Because they make the system with 500 gigs. 500 gigs is nothing now.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you can fit 10 terabytes on an SSD. Just put 10 terabytes in the system if you want people to go digital.
Yeah.
But you want people to go digital and then to have to buy hard drives and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, if I have the physical, at least I have something on the disc and it's not going to use up all my space. But
Yeah.
they're really pushing that digital, like they're making
Big time.
whole systems like there's no CD drive. But I don't know. I feel like new video games for a store like mine may not be beneficial in the long run, but the fact that the old stuff, it's only on cartridge, you know?
Yeah.
So they try to replicate all the old stuff, but there's no way they can fit all those damn games in the library.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah. And I mean, you're doing the cards, you're doing the comics, so you're not just video games. But I'm just curious, you know, like, I feel like the future of video games is just, it's in a weird place right now.
It's never in a million years would I have thought like video games would go. I think I'll say in the next 5 years they're gonna try to put it into the Olympics. I think so.
Yeah, because I mean it's
it's
multi-billion-dollar industry.
It's huge, and I like if skateboarding's finally in, and the way that things are going so fast. Skateboarding should have been in the Olympics a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah, but now that it's there, it's like, okay, now that that's in there, they're going to look at it and be like, well, what else? And what are they competing in worldwide? Video games. There's players from everywhere in the world that are the top of their game, and it's like, they're huge.
Are you planning to collide your worlds, like music and video games in any aspect?
The first music I ever made was video game music.
Okay, like you produced it?
I produced it.
Okay.
That's the first thing I ever did. I want to work with companies, and I do intros for my friends, like Twitch streams and stuff like that do video games. I'll do stuff like that. That's like one of my passions. Just, I don't know where to put it.
Yeah.
Where does it go? But yeah, I would love to do something with both. I try to figure it out, but it's just doing all of this at once. It's hard.
Damn, man, that's kind of sad. It's a lot of times it's like you have the passions and the talent, but the resources and the platform are missing,
and the time. It's like, you know.
Don't get me started on that.
I know. Where's the hyperbolic time chamber at? Where is it? I'll pay. I don't think I can afford it, but I'd pay.
And if you're a comic guy, does that mean you're an anime guy too?
I love anime. Shout out to anime being, I think it's the second biggest culture. I think it's number 2. Hip hop's number 1.
Yeah.
And then anime is number 2.
I'm in both.
And now they're like merging.
Big time.
It's crazy, but it's dope because I remember not being able to find anime anywhere, like getting clips.
It was all internet streaming. You know, you're on these super compressed video sites, and that was the grind, man. I watched all of Naruto when I was in middle school, the whole thing on websites. Like, I was binging.
Yeah.
And these kids are like on Cartoon Network now, just watching it.
Bruh, now I remember waiting years for something to get dubbed.
Yeah.
So that we could get it. Now, I think Attack on Titan, the week after, no, it's like 3 days now. They dub it 3 days after it comes out in Japan. Crazy. And it's on Cartoon Network. Like, yo, it just came out 3 days ago. Now we have it. There you go. That's insane.
They don't really have a choice because, I mean, if these kids today are anything like I was, because back then, like, for example, Naruto was already done. Like, it was already, they blew through so much and it still wasn't close out here. So I was like, well, I'm going to just get online and finish it.
That was one of the ones where it was like, I think Shippuden had already started by the time they dubbed the old school one. I remember that, and I was like, man, these voices suck. Yeah. But
so I'm glad they're doing that now. Give me like your top 3 or something, new, old, whatever.
Man, I'm trying to catch up to One Piece. That's the goat of all.
So you'll never finish.
No, I will. I'm on episodes like 700. But when it was
God.
on episode like 200, maybe like 100 or 200, I was watching it every week.
I tried, man. I tapped out.
Don't tap out. You know what? You know the secret? Do it in arcs. Watch an arc, take a break. Unless you're like, man, I need more, keep going. But it's like, it gets better and better and better. That's number one for sure. I'm behind, but it's number one for me. What's an old one that I don't know.
You're really saying One Piece greater than Hunter x Hunter?
It's the GOAT. One Piece is the GOAT.
You're crazy.
No.
You're crazy.
No.
Hunter x Hunter is better.
It's dope. Hunter x Hunter's dope. One Piece is the GOAT. Sorry. You haven't gone far enough in it.
I read pretty far.
Okay. Hunter x Hunter's how many episodes? 500?
Not even.
400 and something?
Tops?
Yeah.
It's
like
not that long.
It's not long. You've watched the new one then.
I've seen both.
Okay, I remember originally watching, and Greed Island was like an OVA and all that stuff. That was dope. For some reason, I like the old one, but it's like has a bunch of stuff that they don't need in it.
Yeah.
But the new one, the animation was sick. So
yeah, the new one goes further. That's the only reason I switched.
Yeah, so that one, it's not done because he's sick.
Yep.
But his wife's helping him.
Yep.
His wife's the creator of Sailor Moon.
Yep.
Damn.
Craziness.
And they can't. How long can it go? Because the Berserk, he passed away, and Berserk's not done. So it's like, man.
Yeah, someone was telling me that someone will finish the story for him or something.
Man,
but I don't know about that.
It's like, I don't care how much detail you gave it. That is in your heart and in your head.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's only the certain way because you touched it.
Right.
But it's cool that it's gonna end. I think Oda, the writer of One Piece, he told a kid the end of One Piece because he was dying, and it was like a Make-A-Wish thing, and that was his wish. Like, I want to know the end of One Piece, and then they told him.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that kid knows. Well, he knew. But yeah, I don't know. One Piece. There's so much, man. I don't know. I used to be into My Hero, and then I fell out of it.
Before we wrap up, I'll say I'm big on Trigun.
Ooh, that's a good
really
one.
big Trigun guy. Newer ones, I really like Death Note a lot.
Death Note's fire.
Even though the second half tapered off pretty hard.
Fair.
But the first half was like
Masterpiece.
Yeah,
it was first half was a masterpiece.
Code Geass was amazing. And then, yeah, I'd probably go with Hunter x Hunter as my number one.
As your number one?
My number one.
It's
only because it's like each arc is at least 30% better than the last arc. Each time. It just keeps escalating. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna play some tunes, and then we'll wrap up here.
Solid.
Who's playing the guitar on this stuff? Is this riffs or loops or samples?
No, it was a loop, and then I got my buddy's cousin to replay it with like a little lick thing. But it was a loop. But I was like, I'm trying to get out of the loop game. I used to do everything original, and then I like got a splice kit, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just dabble with this.
Yeah.
But like now I'm trying to get back out of that. I feel like I'm cheating myself.
I was gonna say it's a pride thing because the loop life is very hack. It's a hack.
Yeah, it is. I've gotten so much more stuff done with that, and I'm like, I'm trying to get there.
Looks like
it's gonna play one more. It's like a bonus. I always do that. Everything I do, there's a bonus at the end. Everything. It'll be. This is with Jade.
Okay. But yeah, man, this was a pleasure.
Thank you again for having me, man.
Yeah, dude, this was dope. I look forward to having you back over maybe next time, and you'll have the album done.
I'll have it done.
I'm putting pressure on you.
Wait, can I show you the hidden track of this other one that's only 3 minutes? Can I show you that one?
Yeah. Did you send me it?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can send it. Hold on.
That one I wasn't even gonna use. It was just like a personal song. Well, they're all personal, especially with this project, it's all really personal, but then I'm not in that space anymore, so now I don't care. I'll release it. But this one, I showed it to someone that I was working with, and they're like, "Oh, you need to definitely put this out." Yeah, this song is funny. I listen to this when I drive all the time.
This one right here?
The one that's coming up. The 24-hour big day. It's a rough, but I bump it like it's been done.
I play roughs every day.
Yeah. Whenever people send me roughs, I bump those.
1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 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 boom. Boom 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 yeah boom 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 72 hours to your big day boom 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 24 hours to your big day. Going round, running every which way. Trying to tell myself this is okay. To put it simply, for the hemply.
For example.
It's hard to go on when your other half isn't alone.
For example.
It's hard to go on when your other half isn't alone. I played outside and there's a whale falling down. I will, wear your dust and get the ground. I will. And everybody knows that you get ways. Saying everything is a which way. I know ways when you switch play. I know that I just can't go. Sometimes gotta let go.
That's you looped yourself, huh?
That's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes gotta let go.
So how does a song like this? What's your journey as far as this getting to the album? Like, what happens after it? Like, so you laid the idea here. You record this at home. You produce the beat. What happens? What takes a rough and makes it a not rough for you?
If I listen to it 30 times and I'm like, oh, like, yeah, and I learned it just from listening to it, like you would listen to music and learn it, that's when I'm like, oh yeah, if I listen to it 20 times, dope. If I listen to it like 5 times and I'm over it, then I know it's not. But if I'm like listening to it, I'm like, oh, over and over and over and over and over, then.
So play this song 20 times and you love it, right?
I loved it.
Does that mean it's done, or does that mean
you
next
know what?
step?
I think it's done. I'm gonna take it to like someone to get mixed and mastered, and if they have any ideas, like, hey, what about this and this? We'll try it out. If it works, it works. Or maybe that might spark another idea for something. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just mouth trumpet outro.
My man. King of creativity.
I'm trying to keep up with my circle. My circle inspires me. Like,
stay free, man. You know, I feel like you still have a really good grasp on like breaking rules with your music. I feel like the show's over, but I'm still talking. I do this every single time. So for me, I think back on when I first started making music, and I made beats. I produced whole albums at one point in time, and I was so free. Like, there was no, it wasn't I'm going for this BPM or this genre or this is going to be a trap song. It was just create.
Yeah, it falls out of you.
I've kind of lost the innocence, you know, like I don't do that very well anymore. I'm a lot more overly calculated, trying to think a few steps before where I'm currently at. And that's not really what art is, you know?
It's tough, especially when you kind of lock in to where, you know, you're in tune to you and your sound and how you want it to be, that you kind of like keep yourself in this space because you're like, this is where I am. This is what.
I have a theory, man. I think that you haven't released a lot of music, right? But think of every time you release something and people grab onto it hard. there's a subconscious thing in you that goes like,
we got to keep doing that.
We even if you're not trying to remake it,
it's true.
You know,
it's
you're
true.
just like, man, people like that.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
It feels good. And there's a like maybe something that if you never released it and you liked it, great. And then if it came out and it got bad reception, subconsciously you deviate from it a little bit.
And that's true.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, over the last decade of me releasing music, you know, how much deviation have I done, you know, to get where I'm at now? And is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I don't know.
We'll never know.
But it's interesting, man, and I think that that's something that makes you special. You know, you haven't left the path that is in front of you.
Shout out to Cosmic Taste. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
That feeling of being, this is what I am, and I can't be anything other than that. That was another reason why I wasn't releasing music, because I was like, man, everyone likes this, and then they're gonna want to keep making me not making me, but they're gonna want me to keep doing that. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep exploring with the music, and whatever feels good to me. Other people are gonna like it or they're not. Right. But with Cosmic Taste, there's no boundaries. We did like a Mary Jane Girls vibe song, and then we did like a bossa nova type song, and we've done all these different styles and stuff. Sometimes I rap, sometimes I sing. I write with my partner. He plays all the instruments, and it's like, that's the freedom and I get to take that back to the Speaks Geek music, and that's what kind of keeps me out and about trying different stuff.
Speaks Geek, baby.
Thank you again for having me, man. This was super cool.
I appreciate it, man. I love having great art here. This was For the Record. That was Speaks Geek. I'm Jay Kasai. We gotta like look at the camera for like 3 seconds for a thumbnail.
This my letter to you.
Alright, cool.
This my letter to you. Sick. This my letter to you.
Should probably fade this out, man.
Wishing you and yours the best. Kept it real to the true shit. Ooh, that manual fade.
Yeah, baby. The less editing, the better.
That was awesome.